Hello and welcome to Enter the Nerdosphere. This week, we are talking everything E3, coming at you with not one episode, but 6 mini episodes, each one covering a different press conference coming out of E3 and our favorite things from each one. This episode is going to be about PlayStation, which holds a special place in these Preston Brothers' hearts.
For sure.
Let's get right into it.
PlayStation press conference, of any of the press conferences, by far was my favorite. The past couple of years, they've really blown out of the park. Last year, they came out with a full orchestra. This year, they did a live performance of a track from the Uncharted soundtrack. That really
was
cool.
awesome.
It had the waterfall, and they projected something on the waterfall, like imagery. It was just really cool. The PlayStation, when they come out on these press conferences, they just really amp up the theatrics and just how serious they are, just about just like this community and this culture. Even the theater that they chose is actually 35 minutes away from where the main E3 conference was being held. So they really want to make sure that they were in a beautiful theatrical venue for this thing. And while Jackie T always held up a special place in our heart, Sean Layden came out last year and put our hearts at ease to realize that we are still in great hands, and he came out again. I talked about in the Microsoft press conference that they're trying to sell like this lifestyle, but Sony comes out and they're wearing suits. They're very professional. They're kind of like on this next level of like I said, they come up with a live orchestra, and they say, we know that we have great tech. We don't need to convince you. We can just show you, and you can decide for yourself. So here are our awesome games, and they jump right into it. And I love that they respect our time and just move right in.
Yeah, they almost gentlemanly took a jab at Xbox and was like, we're just going to show you what we're going to give you.
Yeah.
And you be the judge.
And I have come to love Sean Layden. Mm-hmm. Like, he's a great representative.
I agree. One thing I will say, just because we ragged on Microsoft so much in our Microsoft episode, PlayStation, for however professional they are, couldn't get their stream under control, and there was no sound for all of the
YouTube had sound, which by those 3 seconds, it was 10 seconds behind the live stream on Twitch.
Right. But anyways, I was watching on Twitch, had no sound during the Uncharted DLC reveal, and no sound up until actual Days Gone was probably when he got to where he's sneaking behind those people.
Mm-hmm. Now, granted, they had audio in the auditorium. It was
the auditorium did. It was just a stream. So a little bit disappointing that they couldn't have all their ducks in a row to make everything like pish posh. And chat was going nuts, of course.
Right.
But so that brings us actually to Days Gone.
Days Gone was a game that debuted last E3, and I was not blown away by it because it was just kind of just literally a demo at the very least. Like, you could tell they had implemented some like code cheats to where the guy was invulnerable, he had infinite ammo, and it was just like the horde chasing after him. And I was like, okay, it's a biker fighting zombies. But this time, we got to see him sneaking around. We got to see like a lot of different ways of how you can use the horde, enemy versus enemy, and use the environments. I don't know. It looked cool. The behind closed doors demo. Tim Geddes also said that he saw them go about what they showed on the conference floor in different ways to show just you can do whatever you want. It's like each little part of the map is like its own little sandbox, and it's very dynamic.
I like how I've been interested in this since they announced it last year. I know you were mediocre on it, but I like the premise. I'm a huge fan of Sons of Anarchy, so just the fact that he's kind of like a biker gang kind of guy like intrigues me. And then I'm a huge fan of The Last of Us, and this seems like similar in a way. But what really hooked me in was the zombies, because the zombies are just like amplified. Like they're feral, they're running at you, they are so sound sensitive. It's like The Walking Dead on crack. Like you can't make any noise or they're like all on you. And just that horde mentality that kind of like, because the fear with zombies is not like one zombie, it's a horde of zombies. and this takes that just like to the next level. And just like I imagine we'll be playing this game with white knuckles on our controllers a lot of the time.
Right. They also said that the weather is dynamic. So like when they saw the behind closed doors, it was snowing. That actually changed how you had to play a little bit. They also talked about how the bike that you ride is very important to the main character's name, who escapes me right now, and I feel really bad about that. It's like Denton or something like that. But he's consistently using parts that he finds in the world to upgrade his bike. But his bike, you only get one, and you have to remember where you put it. They wanted there to be kind of like a realistic aspect of like your survival, and it's not like a horse where you can whistle for it and it'll come to you. You need to keep tabs of where it's at, and you have to go back and get it. So wherever you park your bike almost has to have some strategicness behind it, because you'll have to go back and get it.
Shoot.
Which is very interesting. Like, you're not going to go to the next load screen. It's going to auto spawn next to you. Like, you have to be like, where did I put my bike?
I'm probably gonna lose my bike.
I mean, that's not to say that you're not going to maybe have an icon on the map. I think eventually they'll probably have something on the hub. But either way, you're going to have to go back and get it. It's not going to just auto spawn somewhere else.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to this game. Next is God of War. We got to see a lot more of this. Holy moly. It blew us away last year. It's blowing us away this year.
Norse mythology.
They've taken what was cool about God of War, modernized it with just a great story and
mechanics. Like, it's no longer an arcadey button mash. Like, that's
right,
huge.
Yeah. But it's also like, it's almost just like they modernize it though, because it's still like God of War combat.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the Norse mythology is cool. Like when the world snake came up and they were like freaking out about it, and he's like, "I want to help you." It's
right.
Like, oh my gosh.
It's so cool.
Fucking Kratos gonna start the Ragnarok probably in this game. Oh my god.
We also got to learn outside of the press conference, behind closed doors of the demo, the kid that is Kratos' son in the game is playable if you choose. You don't have to use the kid, but if you do choose to play as him, he can also be leveled up and has his own separate skill tree. So, I mean, it just is going to allow for a lot more diverse of play and probably replayability of the game.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just looking forward to seeing. The coolest thing for me about the God of War series was the story, turning Greek mythology on its head and changing all of it, and I cannot wait for them to do the same thing with
Norse
not
like
mythology.
Ares killing all of the gods?
No, that was stupid.
Because Zeus made man?
No, that was terrible.
Like a Wonder Woman?
That was the worst part of Wonder Woman. Could have just used regular. Could have just used regular mythology and made it work.
Mm-hmm. Next up, Shadow of the Colossus remake, baby. It looks so cool.
Yeah, it's not a remaster. It's a from the ground up remake.
So for me, Shadow of the Colossus, since the PlayStation 2, has been a game that I almost religiously play at least once a year. It's a very interesting and immersive experience, but you can't play it back to back. But if you let a year span go by, it's almost like a fresh experience every time. And it's very cinematic, it's very cool, but it's only like a couple days worth of gameplay. So I had it on the PS2, I had the HD remake on the PS3, and ever since PS4, I've kind of been like, I really wish that they would have it ported in some way, because I love playing it, but I don't necessarily like plugging in my old systems, even though I keep them for whatever reason. But this, to me, like, it gave me chills. I was so excited. It looks so pretty, and I'm buying it day one. I cannot wait.
I never got to play it, so I'm looking forward to playing it. Next, probably game of show, at least for me.
Holy crap. It closed out the show, which is also big news for what it is.
Yeah. SpiderMan, the game.
PlayStation 4.
Oh my gosh. So the entire, normally, and it seems like this year especially, years past, we would get like a cinematic or like some sort of brief gameplay demo with a cinematic. This year, and not just in PlayStation, but all over, it seems like we're going more for gameplay, because I think it also shows that games are becoming more story focused.
Right.
Everything's meshing, gameplay and story is meshing more and more together. But all that being said, Spider-Man was nothing but gameplay demo, and it was phenomenal. The combat looks awesome. The way he swings and uses his webs and all of his different moves, and just seeing the way you could tackle all these things in different ways. Him flying through the city made me think of like the original Spider-Man games, but obviously a lot smoother, a lot quicker, different ways. It seemed like moving around. I remember playing those old games and it being so cool to swing, but then like you'd like touch something and be like meh, meh, and like hang there and then have to like build your momentum up. It seemed like this was really built to like keep your momentum going, and you had a bunch of different move sets in your kit to keep it going.
Yeah, so the environment is very interactive, which is really cool.
It's very interactive.
You're gonna get gadgets. We got to see one where he like planted the strip trap or whatever on the back of the canister, and the guy walked past it and spun him into it. So we're a little bit of context. This Spider-Man, he's going to be, I think they said he's going to be 24 years old, so he's not new to the game. He's been Spider-Man for a while, and so that's why he's going to have access to these gadgets and things. And they wanted you to just kind of like be able to jump into the shoes of an experienced Spider-Man, just like go. It's some people, I guess, I didn't get this from this reveal, but some people, I guess, were concerned that based on the combat demo, that it was going to be a very linear game, similar to like Uncharted, where it looks like it's an open world, but it's more just like a big open sandbox.
I don't think so.
It's not.
I didn't get that.
Insomniac said the moment the game boots up, you'll have the entirety of Manhattan open to you right away. You don't have to unlock zones. It's all there. You complete the missions when you want to complete them. You can play in the world if you want.
That's cool.
Mr. Negative, who is the villain that was debuted in this, is just one of many villains that's going to be in the movie. He's going to be a top tier villain, but that also implies there's going to be a couple more villains pulling even his strings. So there's a lot going on in this game.
Yeah.
100% original story. Miles Morales tease. I don't know. I'm very excited for this game.
It looks really cool.
And actually, the way they teased Miles Morales and the way that Peter Parker was, I was like, if you can manage a way to do Miles Morales right, I can get on board with that character. It was the way that he was presented and the way that Peter Parker was shoved off to the side that made me reject him.
Yeah.
I feel like you can do him correctly and me be okay with it.
Yeah, you can.
He's supposed to be integral to the story.
Sweet.
So,
there was a ton of VR stuff showed off.
Moss VR was one that really kind of caught my attention. It was very cute. You're kind of like this little god figure as you're helping this little mouse warrior.
Oh yeah, that looked cool.
It was like a fun like, little puzzle game.
Which one was the one that was the platformer? Was that
Oh, I didn't put that on here because that looked weird.
Yeah, it's a VR game, and it's like your classic platformer. You're in like far away third person platforming. I don't really get what VR would bring to that genre, but I guess we'll see.
Right, because with Moss, it maybe looks like a platformer, but you are not the mouse. You're interacting with the world and helping the mouse along.
Yeah.
Like the platformer, you are that character.
Yeah, you're
you're
just gonna put on the VR headset and just use your controller like you would on your TV.
That's not the kind of VR immersion that we are looking for.
Impatient.
Impatient looks phenomenal. So for me, having played like Resident Evil, especially in the VR, horror is the niche. Being immersed in a world where you're putting the earbuds in, you can't hear anything except for the game, and then just like having the crap scared out of you. Like this is what I want. Some more immersions as far as shooters and stuff are concerned, but I will buy any decent to good horror game you make on the VR because it is. I mean, I like being scared, so it's a lot of fun. Impatient looks like it'd be terrifying. Elijah Wood also has a horror VR game coming out. They didn't really show anything gameplay wise, but Elijah Wood has been talking about how much he loves horror video games, and so the fact that he wants to be that involved in being the director of the game makes me think that there's got to be some sort of content to it.
Yeah. Another big heavy hitter coming out of Sony is Detroit Become Human. We saw another section of the game, again showing like kind of one scenario going back and then showing the alternative, or at least one of the alternatives to that scenario, and holy crap. I mean,
it's basically like Until Dawn expanded 1,000 times. I love the idea of playing a game and just having different decisions.
Like, I mean, they made Heavy Rain and that one.
You are thinking of Beyond Two Souls.
Yes, Beyond Two Souls, which is, I mean, they take choice matters like to the nth degree.
But
Like
it's
there
so
will be
great.
there will be dozens, if not more,
See, like
endings and opportunities. And
it definitely appeals to a specific type of gamer. So like my wife sees it and she goes, I don't want to play that scene 10 different times to see how different it could play. And I'm like, I cannot wait to see like how I change the narrative of this story.
Graphically, this is probably the best thing on PS4.
It looks so
The
good.
story is really intriguing, at least for me. You got some androids that have become like self-aware, and they're trying to free other androids, and it makes you wonder, is this really like a new, slave situation, free as slaves, or is it a couple androids have become self-aware and they are now controlling androids to serve their own purpose?
At the very least, it takes place in Detroit, which means all hell is gonna break loose.
Right. Yeah. But it looks really cool.
It looks very cool.
We've got Horizon DLC, which I really don't want to know a whole lot about because I still haven't beaten that game.
Right. Uncharted Lost Legacy is great. Graphically looks cool. We have Chloe coming in as a lead, so we've retired Nate Drake. The person to take in the place of the main character is Chloe, someone we've grown with over the past couple of games. So it's only natural we spend some time with her. She's a great female character, so we're going to have a female lead. It looks like a lot of fun. Naughty Dog has seemed to have put a lot of work into what this DLC is, and it's going to have a juicy story at the very least, because they're not going to waste their time on something like this.
Monster Hunter is coming to PlayStation, which there's a huge following for Monster Hunter,
and there are those who have been standing at the precipice wanting to know what it's like, but don't have a Vita or a PSP or whatever. And I was talking to a few of my friends who play video games who were like, I'm excited because I've always wanted to know what it's like. And I was like, I mean, all the power to you. I'm not personally like super excited for it, but there are those who swear by these games.
Yeah, and it was a big deal.
Yeah, so people were like, oh my gosh. And I was like, okay.
The new Call of Duty throws it back to World War II, as you probably know. It looks really good. I'm just like Battlefield was able to kind of suck me back in with World War I think COD might be able to suck me back in with World War II, because like I'm not a Call of Duty fan, but this looks good.
It looks so good. I am so excited for Call of Duty World War II. Modern Warfare 2 was the last Call of Duty game that I loved. Modern Warfare 3 was okay. Black Ops 2 was, pretty good. But this just looks beyond anything I would ever want out of a World War II game. It looks so good.
It does look good.
They
typically deliver a really good campaign, so it should be a fun game to play.
Well, in the campaign, they said you play as 4 characters who are very diverse. They're motion captured by 4 different actors, but you have to keep all of them alive. If one of them dies, they're dead in the narrative.
Oh, dang.
Like, they want you to feel like you're at war, and so like if you have to heal someone, like you need to heal them, because if they die, they did. So it's kind of cool. Consequences for your choices.
Yeah.
The last one.
Marvel vs. Capcom. They showed off the story behind it, and it's out there.
Well, not just that, but when the game was first announced, the trailer, I shouldn't have been bamboozled. But you would think this day and age with fighting games, because it doesn't take as much of the games, they should just always look pretty. And the release trailer, even though it was cinematic, looked so pretty. I was like, this looks like it could be fun. You got Mega Man coming back. But then once you see the gameplay demo, it looks like late PS3 graphics. Like, it's not good. And I downloaded the demo because one of the big things is like, hey, after the E3 conference, you can download the story demo for free.
Yeah.
And it's not good. It's not. I bought the last Marvel vs. Capcom game, and I enjoyed playing it for a little while, and then I burnt out on it much faster than the Fire game. But it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah. And if the name and the way they've handled Street Fighter V are any indicators, this one's going to be around a while.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to come out with another one in a couple of years. Like, they're just going to keep releasing, like, updates and characters to this one.
Yeah. And also, I guess something that a lot of people are disappointed with, after the announcement E3, they leaked the full 25 character roster. So now there's no mystery as to, like, who's going to be coming out in the year or years to come. Like, we now know everyone that's coming.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, I can see how that could be disappointing. If you were waiting for that shock and awe value. Something I was really hoping to see from this E3 was maybe Square Enix just didn't have anything to show, but they've been working on that Avengers game. and I really want to see what it is.
Yeah, I'd also like to see an update on Deep Down. We haven't seen anything on that in several years.
Right,
But we got
and
confirmation that it's still in development.
with a tentative different title.
Mm-hmm.
But Deep Down was something that blew our minds. We got to see a shield melt in real time as the dragon was blowing fire. That's something that we've never seen in a video game before.
It was like a medieval shared world, drop in, drop out.
Like pseudo co-op.
It was it was like
help.
a pseudo co-op,
like, I need help
pseudo
with this
shared
boss.
world. Like it insinuated that it was going to be single player, but you could have friends hop in and help you real quick.
Right.
I don't know. We didn't get a whole lot except like a really cool looking trailer. So,
But the Capcom says they're still working on it.
Yeah.
But
Didn't expect to see anything from The Last of Us, but it would have been nice to just have a little something.
my thing with The Last of Us is I felt the same way. I was like, why didn't we see anything? And it's because anything they showed with The Last of Us would have completely overshadowed Spider-Man. But the fact they wanted Spider-Man to close out the show means that they really, really wanted that to be a statement. And if you had The Last of Us in any shape or form in that conference, we all know all eyes would be on Naughty Dog.
That's a good point.
So they
and
wanted
they
to
don't
say,
have anything to show probably right now. So.
Right, and Naughty Dog's a heavy hitter anyways. So we're like, hey, they were probably like, can you just take a step back this one time, let Insomniac shine with their Spider-Man game?
Yeah. I guess deep down I just want Colin to be wrong, and I want Last of Us to come out next year.
It's not gonna happen.
We'll see.
Colin's right.
We'll see. All right. So that was our PlayStation episode. Be sure to check out all of our other episodes this week regarding the E3 press conferences. Leave us a rating. Comment down below whether or not you liked the conference, what you liked coming out of PlayStation this E3, and we will see you next time.